found out this week that there are wine glasses that don't break when they fall. And I was just talking with a person about how I wish that there were wine glasses that didn't break, and it just sucks replacing them. And we both laughed about it and shrugged it off because it's like, what can you do? It's just glass. And fast forward to when I went to the winery recently, I'm now realizing that there is. I saw a box of wine glasses that don't break when they fall. And it made me think, imagine if I wouldn't have bumped into that box that showed me that there actually are wine glasses that exist that don't break when they fall. I would never have known. I wouldn't even know it was possible if I didn't bump into it. And it kind of frustrated me because I could have just simply looked it up. But instead of picking up my phone that I always usually have in hand and Googling to see if there was a solution to that problem I have of breaking my glassware all the time, I left it up to chance. I left it up to luck. And by chance, I was lucky enough to see that they exist. And it made me wonder, what other things in my life am I leaving to chance? Because I'm not even looking for the solution. I'm just assuming that it doesn't exist. I have a lot of moments where I realize something and it frustrates me because if I were to just look it up, I would have been known. Through these experiences, I finally realized that there's a lot of solutions that can be found if you just simply look for them. A lot of the times we automatically assume they don't exist, so we never find them. It's absolutely crazy to me, of all of the things that I was able to find on the internet, that I just assumed there was no solution to. All the things that I teach is because I look for these answers. I teach things through experience too. I share my experience here so other people who are experiencing it can know how to get through it and that it's normal and there's a way out. But also, I am deliberately looking for the answers to my problems. And not just on the internet, but in books. There are books dedicated to solving the problems that you have. I cannot emphasize this enough. I've mentioned it in multiple videos. For an example, I'm about to out myself real quick. I'm going to expose myself real quick. And I'm going to share what books that I read to specifically solve the problems that I'm having. I think in school, for some of us, we didn't like to read because they gave us BS to read, like things that really weren't significant. There's some schools that actually give you books that teach you things, but sometimes, I don't know if it's done intentionally, but it's different reading a book that solves your problem versus being forced to read a book to do assignments. So for an example, this book right here, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I got this book and I'm starting to read it because I'm realizing that I don't really have any financially abundant people in my life to teach me how to be financially abundant. I have a bad habit of spending and I want to get better at saving and I want to learn about investments. And I just want to learn more about money because I'm manifesting more money in my life. And if I don't learn how to undo the mindset that keeps you in poverty, because if I get this abundance of money, which I've gotten abundances of money, and I've lost it really easily. It's like you can get more money and you'll be in the same situation working paycheck to paycheck. If you don't fix your mindset around money, you're always going to be broke no matter how much money you have. That's why a lot of people who win the lottery end up broke later on because they don't know what to do with it. So this is a book that I got to solve it. This is a book that I'm almost done reading. I like to read my books slowly, and sometimes I like to read them over and over again. But another problem that I don't really struggle with it that much, but I do feel like it could get some polishing. I struggled with being assertive for many years. I was bullied at multiple jobs. I was bullied in middle school, taken advantage of, all because I couldn't learn to be assertive. In the beginning was like, okay, this is just who I am. I'm just gonna have to struggle with this. And then I just snapped out of it because I got tired of it and I was like, let me look for the fucking solution. So I got this book. Not nice. And honestly, if you need this book, email me and I'll give this to one of my subscribers. If you're someone struggling with being assertive, email me. I have a second copy because I accidentally ordered it on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble. So if you're a subscriber watching this and you seriously want to be assertive, email me. I'll send you a copy. Another problem that I found is, well, I don't really have this anymore because this book really has changed my perspective, but I found that I was seeing obstacles as like a sign that I should stop. and I saw this as a lot of friction, like it was causing a lot of friction in my goals. So I got this book, The Obstacle is the Way. It is one of my favorite books. I have like, I think 2 live streams dedicated to this book. I'll leave them linked down below. But I highly recommend this to you if you're someone striving for something in life and there's just a ton of obstacles getting in your way. You're trying to start a YouTube channel, you're trying to grow a YouTube channel, you're trying to become financially free, and there's just things keep getting in the way. Read this book because it teaches you how to pretty much alchemize obstacles, how to like not let the obstacles stop you, but be a sign that you're on the right track, because obstacles are inevitable. Another issue, not a major issue, but another issue that in dating, I just felt like, I don't know, I've dated and I haven't gotten what I want in some relationships. And it made me wonder, like, what can I do to improve myself as a woman? And maybe I should learn more about the opposite sex. If I want to date them, I should learn more about them. And I should learn how to, like, really have a healthy operating relationship, because, like, they don't teach that in school. I naturally am a pretty healthy person, but how am I supposed to know what I suck at if I don't actually look it up? So I was like, someone recommended this book, and I highly recommend this book. If you're struggling with relationships, you've dated to the point where you're just like, I hate all men, or I hate all women, I just can't date because everyone is trifling, it's crazy on these streets, and you're scared to date, I highly recommend that everyone reads this book, because it really goes into the science behind each, like how the opposite sex generally, not all the time, but generally operates differently. And as I was reading this book, I actually was really upset, because I've learned some things that if I knew before in certain relationships, they probably could have lasted longer. And guess what? If you don't want to read these books, there is a solution to getting the knowledge in these books. If you look for it, I've learned, well, I was introduced to this, so it kind of beat me to the punch. I was watching this YouTube video and she promoted, there's actually a website where you can get the notes of each chapter and what each book teaches. I'll have that link down below. If you're too busy to read a book and you just want to get the key points, there's a website that takes the key points, so you don't even have to freaking read it. You know how, like, amazing that is? Like, I actually like to have these books because I reteach what I learned myself and I study, but I sometimes don't have time to read. And another solution is you can get an audio book of something you want to read, and you can read it like 3 times faster just by listening to it. Like, I have read a whole book in one night. Like, I will be like doing my nightly routine. Sometimes I'll be clean. When I clean, sometimes I listen to audiobooks. When I'm cooking, like, sometimes audiobooks is only like 3 hours, and like you can pair it with something that you already need to do. Let's say you're deep cleaning your room, listen to an audiobook. You finish this book within like a day or 2 because you listen to it through audiobook versus taking forever to read it. And then a solution for if you don't even want to pay for books, there are ways to get books. There are ways to get books for free. Z Library has been shut down, but there's always a way if you're looking for it. There are free audiobooks actually on YouTube. Most of my favorite audiobooks are on YouTube for free, which I don't even understand how, but you best believe I'm listening to them. It takes your mind a couple times hearing it for it to digest everything subconsciously. So sometimes I'll reread audiobooks while I'm headed to bed. It is amazing of what you can do once you identify the problems in your life and start looking for the solution. We automatically assume that there isn't one. We automatically assume like this is just how it is. Like, your life can become so much easier. Such a better experience in life you can give yourself just by simply looking some things up. For another example, I wear wigs. This is a wig. I wear my natural hair too, but I was actually about to stop wearing wigs because when I first started wearing wigs again recently, when it's windy, I noticed that my hair would like, and like I would have to hold on to it, and I found it really embarrassing because like my hair was gonna fly away like Mary Poppins, and I was just like, I can't do this. I was really ready to give it up, like give up the wigging, even though like I just started. I'm really enjoying like playing around my look, even though like I kind of am clinged on to this stuff. Instead of letting that problem consume me and just giving up on wigs, I looked up a way to keep my hair from, like, you know, and I've learned that there's actually like a wig grip, and I bought it, and it actually grips my hair and it keeps my hair from, like, my bangs will fly up, but like my wig never like lifts at all when it's windy, and it's really windy right now actually. And like I've had multiple people tell me how they love how my hair looks blowing in the wind. Like strangers pass me by like, wow, you look like a model, and I'm like, yeah. And I just think to myself, like, if I didn't actually take time to look up if there was a solution, I wouldn't have found it. I would have just given up. There's so many moments where you're just giving up. You're just assuming there's no solution, or you're just assuming that the solution is hard. That's another thing. Some of us won't look for the solution because we're assuming the solution is hard or super expensive or super unattainable. Why are you assuming? Go and figure it the fuck out. Go and find out if there's a way to solve the problem, even if it's small. Something else that we do is we'll like see the problem as not being big enough of a problem to look into the solution. But low-key, if you were to look into the solution, your life would be a lot easier. Like, sometimes we underestimate the littlest differences, the littlest things that can make a huge difference. Like, for me, I don't take it lightly when it comes to this. I'm always looking for the littlest things to increase my experience in life. For an example, I have a lot of bags. So, you know, in the past, I would have it on my dresser. I even put it on my grand piano, and it just was kind of ruining the aesthetics. And I asked myself, like, okay, what type of shelf can I get? And I wanted a specific shelf that I know that I personally could not mount myself. And for some time, I was like, you know, I guess it's not meant to be. I'll just, like, wait on it. Maybe, like, eventually I'll find someone to do it. And I had to snap out of it, like, wait, let's hire someone to do it. Let's look up. And then in the back of my head, there was, like, a voice that was just like, well, that's expensive. You don't want to hire someone to do it. But then I was like, I sound crazy. I'm just, like, sharing my internal conversations with you guys. Because I'm a real one. No, but, and then, like, a part of me was like, but let's look and see how expensive it is. Let's not assume it's super expensive to mount a shelf. Let's actually look up how much it is and compare if it's worth that price. And you can always negotiate. And it actually was not expensive at all, at least not for me. To me, the price was worth what he was charging. So I hired him that very next day, and he came, mounted the shelf perfectly, and now I have a beautiful back shelf. You guys want to see it? You want to come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Yes, it's giving. Well, the freaking leaves are kind of ruining it. Okay, now it's kind of, I gotta organize it. Honestly, it's not giving as much as I thought it was giving, but it's giving boss beat. And I painted it gold too. Another thing I found a solution for, I was actually looking specifically for gold shelves, and I couldn't find any luck. And then I was like, why don't I just make it gold? Like, I could just, like, paint it gold, and, like, no one's gotta know. Like, I could just tell them that, like, I spent a ton of money on it. And, like, they'll never know that, like, low-key, I got that gold paste. And I got that Bob the Builder thumb. Well, Bob the, like, the HGTV designer thumb. I don't really have the Bob the Builder thumb. And then I did the same thing with my couch. Because low-key, these couches cost like $10,000 on Etsy. And I was like, fuck out of here. Got my whole couch set for $150. Because I find solutions. And I want you guys to find the solutions too. Because a lot of your problems have solutions. Peep the shelf. Another solution, because I'm a hoarder. Specifically a Starbucks cup hoarder. And those aren't even all my cups. Anyway, let's go back. Back to the drawing board. Overall, whoop, just dropped one. Yes, hi, my name's Malaysia, and I collect Starbucks cups like Pokemon cards. Because low-key, they do have worth. Like, people resell them for hundreds of dollars. Because Starbucks don't be bringing them back sometimes. So it's like, I know the value of a good Starbucks cup. I'm an investor. I invested in those cups over there. So before you judge me, you gotta know my story. Anyway. So yeah, overall, I want you to really look into the problems that you're having and finding the solution, because even if they're small, it's the littlest things that make the biggest difference. So if you're sitting here like, oh, well, I don't have any feng shui in my apartment, but that's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, that's not a priority to me. Like, really think about the big difference it'll make just by simply making the littlest change of the feng shui of your apartment. Why not try out it? We're so lucky to have, I mean, there are cons to it, but we have all the answers, not all the answers, but most of the answers to everything at our fingertips. There are YouTube channels dedicated to solving problems. There are TikTok accounts dedicated to solving problems. I have so many examples of things that I've looked up that has changed my life. The littlest freaking things. Like recently I've gotten fashion tape because I used to tell myself, I mentioned this in a live stream before, I used to not like button up shirts because my shirt just like opens up by accident and pop, like, you know, shows my bra and everything. And I recently looked up a solution to it, and actually fashion tape helps with that solution. And something else I've realized, like a problem that I have, is sometimes my bra strap will be showing and I don't like my bra strap showing. Fashion tape also helps with that. And if I wouldn't have looked up if there was a solution for that, I would have just continued to tell myself, oh, well, I can't wear those I can't get that shirt because, like, you know, it shows my bra strap. I would miss out on so many clothes, so many beautiful clothes, because I'm not looking up if there's a solution to, like, the friction that I have with that certain clothing item, you know? Another problem that I looked up a solution to is I noticed some shirts really make my boobs the center of attention, and I hate it. I don't want to, like, it makes me want to get a breast deduction, and I don't, like, a part of me does and a part of me doesn't. And I feel like certain shirts complement my boobs, and then certain shirts basically make my boobs like look like bigger than my head, and it makes me look fat overall. I'm not saying you're fat if your boobs are like that, but I looked up the solution to that, and there's certain cuts of shirts where your boobs will look a lot less humongous and a lot more complimentary. You'll look a lot more put together if you have big boobs wearing certain types of cuts. And same vice versa for smaller boobs. Like if you wear certain types of cuts of shirts, you might look better versus, like, there's just certain things for certain body shapes. And I would not know that if I didn't look it up. And I would have continued to just make my boobs a problem instead of looking at what works for my boobs. I would have continued to make my body a problem instead of looking up, if I didn't look up what outfits, what types of things work for my body, what type of things work for my, you know, archetype of a body. And there's actually like a whole like silhouette list of different types of body types. Like, I'm telling you, I am telling you, it is all out there. So stop assuming and start looking if there's something you can do to improve your quality of life, because even if it's small, it makes the biggest difference. Don't leave things up to chance. Don't wait until you're introduced to an opportunity or to a thing to help improve your quality of life. Don't wait until you have someone show you. Find it yourself. And I just want to end off this video by saying I'm really glad that by chance you found me. Because maybe you didn't look me up. Maybe I showed up at your For You page on TikTok because I share my videos on TikTok. Or maybe someone put you on to my channel. Or maybe you saw my channel recommended on your feed on YouTube. Or perhaps you saw it on Facebook. Whatever it may be. I'm really happy by chance we found each other. So I can help you come closer to believing, building, and achieving the life that you want. The life that you deserve. Even though maybe there's a voice in your head telling you you don't. I'm gonna kill it.